life, we have moments of time to tell people a story. We have moments of time to tell people how we feel. We have moments of time to get someplace at the right time so that the entire heavenly gate doesn't have to move all things all over the place to make the situation be right again and again and again. When we make the mistake of letting fear get into our relationships, we have a problem. Now, if it's true fear, in other words, that someone is really being physically aggressed against and brutalized, that's one thing. If it's a psychological fear because a person is being played against in terms of the audio inaudible files that some monsters from different lands are bringing into our country, that's something else. But if it's just a personal fear of, I don't know how to handle this situation, it's so old, but I've really got to handle it, that's your own stupidity. You let it go too long. And openly, that means God has to keep producing new songs, new ideas, new feelings for you to get the feeling you're supposed to do something. And if you're that slow, maybe you need a mental health check. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody needs one of those. But the point is that in life we have moments of time to show the people we care about how we feel about them. And if we are monstrously trying to ruin their lives, that's one thing. If we are monstrously trying to help them be successful, that could possibly be another. But the only question is, who gave you permission to help any adult at all to do anything at all? You see, when it comes to helping people who are in homelessness or poverty or struggle, the most important thing you ask them is for permission. There's always a presumption that you have the right to tell someone to get a job, to look for a new career, to get online, to work with their social media. But what we know today about social media is it's actually recording our voices, which allows them to construct social engineering within this current social distancing world. Now that whole concept just probably blew by you, but here's the rub. We're in social distancing. We're supposed to stay 6 feet apart. Yet good friends still walked with each other as I saw people leaving the hospital walking to their cars. And they are put in the midst of all of the sickness. They're also leaving the hospital in their actual nurses' uniforms. They're going in to pick up lunch, dinner at pizza places, pizza joints, or other different places that are fully handling our food. How safe is that for us? How is MRSA transmitted? I don't know. But it doesn't mean that their clothing is appropriate to be outside of the place. Now, when I worked in manufacturing, we all had uniforms, but the beauty of our HR director and the men who were above her is that they realized that people preferred a little bit of choice. So what they did was they put together a whole bunch of options for the uniform. As long as everybody had tan pants on and steel toes, they could use any shirt style they wanted that matched their personality, their health needs in terms of warmth or coldness in their life, and literally everybody did their own thing. It was wonderful. I hate polos at that time, so I could wear a collar shirt. I might like one nowadays if my love likes me in it, but I have plenty of shirts on because silk keeps people warm and it's very thin. Makes it easy to wash, easy to dry, and it's very easy to dry on the road in a partially constructed curtain rod that can literally allow anything to blow dry with a sunroof on a vehicle. I'm not usually typically crazy about Chevy cars, but I recently have taken an interest in the Chevy Tahoe. There's a lot of reasons. It's a solidly constructed vehicle. It's made and prepared well by American workers, and someone in that company is starting to get that their cars are sort of falling behind. They're falling behind in style, they're falling behind in technology, and they're just not selling as well. Maybe. How do I know? I'm not in that industry, and that's sort of my point. When you don't work in an industry, you can't possibly know what the responsibilities are. I only learned about real estate because I tried to help a woman, a good friend of mine in business, named Megan, to plan something. Now that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything else about her life. That I tried to help to do something. But I learned a lot from her perspective of doing things with my industry to support things that she was trying to accomplish in her industry, and I learned about the cost value of time. Now when I talk about the cost value of time, it means a lot to people. It literally means how much does it cost you to make that product or service in order for you to produce an income for yourself after the cost of developing that thing. You see, there's always that cost to time value and the cost to product value or the cost to the vendor or the parts value. There's always those sort of costing things we have to take care of. But the cost to our relationships is something we don't talk enough about. Because the cost to a relationship that's gone awry, that's had a falling out, is immense. That person may always be seated and sitting with the challenge of, how do I fix this now? I really miss that person. How do I fix it now? I usually recommend that you pick up the phone, you call them, and talk to them in person. The problem today is sometimes technology doesn't get through, or sometimes technology is not allowed through. And if that's the case, the person is usually in homelessness by a very short period of time. You see, when we monkey with a person's technology like the telephone, we interfere with the Lord's right to have other people interact with them in different ways, in different projects, in different concepts and ideas. The life of a person is always the life of a person. The life of a group is always the lifeblood of a group. But when a group goes after a person, it's called mobbing. And that is something the Lamb, thankfully, is still protecting against. In life, we have moments of time to talk to people, to help them, to move them forward, to be business partnerships, to be lovers, to be social liaisons. It doesn't really matter. As long as you feel that pull to that individual, you can never move forward is not true, that you'll always be sitting in regret of why did I lose that relationship. Sometimes people don't feel the same. Sometimes it's one-sided or lopsided, as a lot of people say, but is it really lopsided, or did you just not give the person a chance? In life, we've got moments of time to tell someone how we feel, and my desire this day, by the end of the day, is to be able to stand before the woman that I would like to marry and tell her why I would like to marry her in my best and simplest way. If she chooses to respond, fine. But I've been waiting a long time already for that answer that I've literally asked almost 12 times in the most creative possible ways I could think of, and I'm still waiting for my response. If it's maybe we should date a little while first, well, that'd be lovely. But I still want the power to say no to that if I should decide to date someone else. But at the moment, my heart, mind, and soul belong to her. There's another who sort of plays in my mind at some times. And baby girl, I do miss you a lot. I miss your wisdom, I miss your laugh, I miss everything. But you know the one I love, and you've got to let that produce itself, or help it to produce itself, in order for the Lord's plan, which you're getting in your own way, in your own time, to move forward. The problem is our player is not playing well, and the problem is you are not telling the tell. But in life, we've got to tell people how we feel, or we miss out on the love that is most real.